There have been two kind of big rumors circulating around Kent Hughes and the word trade this week. One involves a particular player, one involves the draft. Could either of them turn from speculation into reality? You know, I actually love the offseason in hockey. While I enjoy watching hockey games and the battle towards the Stanley Cup that happens all year long, from September starting in training camps all the way until, well, the Vegas Golden Knights just became the most recent Stanley Cup champions, that's all very exciting, but the offseason is where all of the drama really starts to happen. And that's been going on for Montreal this past week, as a couple of prominent rumors have really started making their way through the circuit involving Kent Hughes and the word trade. I'll give you my thoughts on each of them and whether or not I believe there's a probability that one, both, or none of them could actually come to fruition. Now, the first one actually isn't a rumor that just started circulating this week. We've actually been having this conversation for almost a year, and that is what's in the cards for the future of Pierre-Luc Dubois, and is Kent Hughes going to make a trade for him from the Winnipeg Jets? Well, this is something that's been discussed since prior to last season, when there was a lot of hype surrounding maybe making a trade for PLD back at that time. That didn't come to fruition. PLD stayed with the Jets for the remainder of last season. But now in the offseason this summer, the talks are heating up a lot more. The rumors are spreading a lot more that Pierre-Luc Dubois is not going to sign a contract with the Winnipeg Jets this summer. And so, of course, that means all eyes immediately point to Montreal. Is he going to come to Montreal? Is this going to be a big splashy trade that Kent Hughes is going to make? Now, I should qualify that by also saying Pierre-Luc Dubois has mentioned that there are a couple of other teams on kind of his here's where I'd like to be traded or would be okay with being traded to list. But it's no secret that Montreal is probably at the top of his list. And for a lot of Habs fans, he is at the top of their list. Of course, Pierre-Luc Dubois could be an asset to the team. He's got a lot of strengths. He would be a very popular player with the Montreal Canadiens and Quebec fan base. And so on the surface, it might be a very exciting kind of trade to consider as we get closer and closer to the draft and free agency, which, by the way, expect to see something happen with Pierre-Luc Dubois probably before July 1st, before free agency opens. Ballpark figures on what Pierre-Luc Dubois and his camp are hoping and or expecting to bring in terms of the money on a contract is north of $9 million. $9 million. That's $1 million 9 times. That's a lot of money. You've locked up Nick Suzuki at his price. You've locked up Cole Caulfield now a couple of weeks ago, just slightly below the captain. And you're going to blow their salaries out of the water and bring Pierre-Luc Dubois in? Considering also that while Pierre-Luc Dubois might be an impact factor now, Pierre-Luc Dubois likely will not be as impactful as a player in a couple, 2 to 3 years, when the young core that Kent Hughes, Jeff Gorton, and company are building reach kind of their peak in this rebuild. So when the rebuild gets to where they could actually be contenders, Pierre-Luc Dubois might be on more of the downside of his peak performance. And so at that point, is he really going to be warranting a $9 million plus per year salary? Personal opinion, I don't love Pierre-Luc Dubois' attitude. He's got a bit of entitlement to him, and I'm all for attitude. I'm all for being sassy, spunky, kind of in your face, a little gritty, having a little swag, all of those kinds of things. But Pierre-Luc Dubois, for me, it borders more on a little bit of selfishness and arrogance, and I don't know that that is what a young Montreal Canadiens locker room pushing forward through a rebuild really needs at this point in time. So for me, if you want my opinion on whether or not Kent Hughes should make a trade for Pierre-Luc Dubois, my answer would be no. Too expensive. When they need him the most in a few years, I don't know that he'll be as impactful. Not quite sure about his attitude. And would Kent Hughes have to give up too much to get him? That's another big question. Now, the other trade rumor that's been certainly making waves this week that is definitely new on the radar as we are now less than 2 weeks away from the first round of the NHL Draft. A report by Alexander Gascon at Radio-Canada earlier this week mentioned that speaking to a number of scouts and unnamed sources, I would imagine close to the Montreal Canadiens, that Kent Hughes is, quote, right now, the Canadiens are doing everything they can to try to get up to fourth. He goes on to say, this was an unnamed source saying this. They are very aggressive. Is it because of Will Smith? Maybe. At the same time, if it's Karlsson, they'll be happy the same. And another scout talking about this saying, it wouldn't surprise me that much. It would make sense given Kent Hughes' relationship with Will Smith. It's very possible that Will Smith will no longer be available at number 5 overall when the Montreal Canadiens get around to picking. Kent Hughes coached Will Smith when he was a member of the Boston Junior Eagles. So they do have a relationship. Kent Hughes knows this player. The player is comfortable with the GM. And so there's speculation surrounding, could Kent Hughes be making a push to go to number 4 overall to ensure that he gets a guy like Will Smith? Arp Mbasu in The Athletic then confirmed this rumor and also goes one step further to say that he has heard reports from sources that Kent Hughes is also making calls to the Anaheim Ducks, number 2 overall. That's essentially what most people think is going to be the Adam Fantilli selection. Will Kent Hughes trade up to get something higher than the number 5 overall? It really depends on who they really want with that first selection that they have in the draft and what they're willing to pay to get it. Moving up to number 4 will cost you. Moving up to number 2 would be astronomical. Last year at the draft, when everyone thought Shane Wright was going to be a Montreal Canadian and go first overall, Kent Hughes left a lot of people pretty shocked in their seats when it was Juraj Slafkovsky who was announced as the first overall selection.
No, he didn't.
Will Kent Hughes pull something like that again this year? Will there be a major shakeup around the Montreal Canadiens? Oh boy, the draft is so exciting, and this year's draft is deep. It's going to be dynamic. It's going to be entertaining. I don't personally think that Kent Hughes is going to make a move unless he feels backed into a corner to do so to get a piece that they really, really want. I think that he'll be selecting at number 5 overall, but you just never know. So which one of these 2 trade rumors do I think is more likely than not? If either one of them were to come true, which one do I think is more likely to be the one that happens? Pierre-Luc Dubois being traded to Montreal or Kent Hughes trading up positions in the first round of the draft? As much as I wouldn't want to see it happen, I think if either of them happen, and it's very possible that neither of these comes to reality, but for me, if it were to happen, it would probably be the Pierre-Luc Dubois trade. I really don't see Kent Hughes moving up from number 5 in the draft. I could be wrong, but if either of them were going to come true, I would think that it would be the trade for Dubois. So now it's your turn. You tell me, which one of these 2 trades do you think would happen? Or which of these 2 trades would you want to see happen? Leave me the answer to that down below in the comment section. I always love to hear what you're thinking about hot topics surrounding the Montreal Canadiens. And hey, if you're enjoying our channel, if you're enjoying today's show and enjoying the content that we bring you each and every week, won't you do me a favor? If you haven't done so already, tap that subscribe button, hit the like button, tap the notification bell so that you never miss an episode. And of course, just tap that share button. Share this episode on your favorite social media platform. And hey, I just mentioned a few minutes ago about how the Canadiens just recently locked up Cole Caulfield on a nice big fat contract. I spoke about that in depth in a recent video, including the reveal of whether or not my prediction on what Caulfield's contract would come out to be was right or wrong, and also talked about a really big, exciting channel update. If you missed it, and if you'd like to hear if I was right or wrong, check out this video right here, and I'll see you again next week.